Name another laminated Asdel RV with two slides, full privacy, standard second air, and washer dryer prep with the price point of a stick and tin camper. I'll wait. Hello and welcome everybody. Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV down here, taking a look at a model I don't think I've had a chance to put fully on camera before. The 32 Camp from Surveyor. The Camp series is the most basic trim package that Surveyor offers, but weirdly, they actually have some surprising features included in here, like a over 31,000 BTU central air system. They have like the same air cooling capacity on this as like a Brinkley Model Z luxury fifth wheel, with the capacity here for a third air conditioner that they do also offer as an option from the factory. Also has stackable washer dryer prep, a taller ceiling, enclosed heated belly, Asdel below the fiberglass with a primarily aluminum framed welded cage structure, private true queen bedroom, and just wide open feeling rear bunk second living room almost for the kids, with its own slide and a move bunk get out the way arrangement. What's really cool about this is like a true quad bunk. 4 individual beds for bigger families is a hard thing to find sometimes because Camp Kitchens kind of deleted the 4th bunk. This one, they said not everybody wants a camp kitchen. If you want all the sleeping, that's where this one comes into play here. And it looks and feels big and spacious. Now, this is, again, I want to restate this, the simplest trim package that Surveyor offers. They make stuff with more widgets and whiz bangs. But like, if what you're trying to do is like, hey, listen, kids are going to beat up on stuff. I don't want to put too many dings into something that's going to cost me too much money. And I just want something that'll take care of my family. And I don't want a stick and tin camper. I just don't like the idea of it for whatever reason. This is something that'll work for you. And then eventually, when the kids grow up and move on and discover the opposite sex and fast cars or whatever their thing happens to be, you can swap into that little half-ton towable couples camper and ride into the sunset. All right, so let's get into it. From the bathroom looking back. Actually, let's talk about the bathroom real quick. It's a walk-through bath that some people don't like, but it provides a shower next to the primary true queen bedroom instead of a tub near the bunks. Some people like that. Some people don't. If that's a deal breaker, let's go ahead and find you a RV that fits your needs, wants, and preferences a little bit better. You know what I mean? Moving on from that, what do we have here? Light colors and a taller ceiling, I think about 6'9", opens this thing right up and makes it look and feel quite large. And although, like, it's very easy to look at this because there's not a lot of, like, shiny stuff, you know? And I mean, literally shiny, you know? Some RV manufacturers are aware of the fact that it is a pre-wired part of the human condition that shiny things are perceived as more valuable and superior in quality. So cheap, shiny plastic sometimes visually reads as higher quality. Surveyor isn't shiny. They're functional. Like, we have that electric space heating fireplace. We have a standard dual air, standard 50 amp service, optional third air, prep for stackable washer dryer, stuff that you don't normally associate with a budget sensitive family camper. This has by default. It's interesting. It's kind of cool. If you notice, there's 2 of these big storage kind of linen dresser cabinet things back here in the bunk room, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to notice that they are completely open face with no netting or anything of any sort, meaning while traveling it might be difficult to fully load those and keep things in place. So you're going to want to kind of come up with a solution for that. I don't like that, but that's the reality of it. Now over here, the bunk slides. Normally that top bunk will flip up out of the way and like the bottom bunk would become a sofa, but that's not what happens on this one. I think they were kind of caught in a bit of a catch-22. They basically just put a big flip-up countertop extension back here, which is useful, certainly. But you do need to make sure you fold it down before closing the slide. Thankfully, that's very easy to eyeball, but it's also easy to forget. But if they didn't do it, people would say they wasted the rear wall. I don't know. It's a catch-22. TV hookups on the rear wall there. Again, we are third air prepped and ready. And if it's a, rainy day and you feel like there's just not enough space for everybody, you say, move, bunk, get out the way. And suddenly this converts essentially into an extended and or second living room, depending on what you want. This is also right here a jackknife sleeper sofa, and if I'm reading this correctly, I bet there's actually storage below it. Yes, indeedy doodly, there absolutely is. It's a little tricky to get to, so you're not going to want to put daily use stuff down there, but man, any storage is useful, especially when you got this many bodies in a camper. But that's actually an interesting talking point on this RV. Don't know if you can read that sticker. 200-pound rated folding bunk, by the way. This RV can sleep a crap ton of people. And I use that phrasing very intentionally because it's a single bathroom. It's not a bath and a half. It has a single black tank. Depending on how you camp and how many people and whatnot, you might be filling that quickly. Now, if you have on-site sewer service, being able to essentially just pull a valve to dump your tank, not a major deal. But if you don't, if you have to make honey wagon appointments, if you have to, unhook the RV from your campsite and pull it up to the dump station, well, that's going to be inconvenient. And those are the kind of things that first-time RVers rarely think about, but those are the sorts of things that I want you to know about so that you can help determine if this is or is not the correct RV for you. Now, they don't force a TV on you in the Surveyor Camp series. You wanted to, I bet you put a 40-50 inch up there, though, something like that. And then over here behind door number 1, we have the washer dryer prepped walk-in laundry-tainment center, which, in case you're wondering, that is a entertainment center with a walk-in pantry and laundry hookups. That's what that all means, I guess. So, now, by the way, you see the little sticker on the wall? That's where if you wanted to install a vented washer dryer, you could. I have no personal experience using them. However, I was recently chatting with some other folks that you may or may not have seen on the channel. I don't know. They live a lot on Instagram, and they can give you a lot of information on the full-time RV life. Their name is Peoples and Places. I talked to them recently about that, and they originally had a ventless washer dryer, and it washed fine, but like the clothes were always a little damp, and they always had to kind of set them out. So they really speak highly of the full vented washer dryers. They just feel that worked more effectively for their family. So there you go. A little food for thought if you're one of the literally less than 2% of people who will actually ever utilize washer dryer hookups. It's amazing. People who want the washer dryer hookups are absolutely baffled to learn that the actual percentage of it is truly that low. Now, you might have noticed, if you have an eagle eye and know what you're looking at, that was a 3-in-1 electric oven, air fryer, convection, microwave. You might have also noticed how what was a wooden cutting board cover behind the stovetop is now a countertop flush sink cover, which you need because, being real, this RV has painfully limited kitchen counter space, and it does not have a propane oven. So those might be key critical features for you. Now, naturally, the sofa and dinette can fold down into sleepers. Sometimes, I think it's because sizing is hard to point out or to understand maybe sometimes in these videos. People say, well, are they adult sized? Absolutely not. No, they're not. The industry also likes to call a dinette like this or a jackknife sofa a 2-person sleeper. Get the flip out of here. Absolutely not. It is a small kid or big dog sleeper, and that is all she is. I am not going to ever intentionally overpromise and underdeliver on something for you. I want you to be pleasantly surprised, not sadly disappointed when you come visit one of our stores and see an RV. So hopefully you just appreciate the difference. Like, I'll point out, this RV obviously has next to no campsite window coverage. That is not a strength of this camper by any stretch of the imagination. I think the most delicate way I can say this generally speaking, the bathroom is very Spartan, but it does have two features I really like. But it's missing two things for me. First of all, it does not have a medicine cabinet. That's just a mirror screwed into a wall panel. It does have decent space around the toilet. I'm okay with that. It does have a nice tall shower. I'll get you up here toward the ceiling so you can look at my, my balding face that looks like a giant thumb on the screen now that I've buzzed the rest of my hair, the little bit that I had left. And it does have a bigger vent fan, which is wonderful. It does not have any sort of actual linen storage in here, though. It's just one of those little annoyances that you'll have to kind of figure out how you want to work around, or potentially choose another model. Nothing says, I'm not sitting here saying I got to find a way to make you want to buy this one. Maybe this just isn't the right camper for you, and that's okay too. And even though it's eating up the whole camera frame, this is a 60 by 80 true queen bed, which I appreciate. And I do also appreciate how they do not cut the corner, generally speaking, with their bedroom storage. Now, this isn't quite as fully detailed as the mid and upper line Surveyors, but they didn't just throw a shelf up here. They at least threw some netting in place to help keep stuff there. You do have the headboard power pockets still with the household and USB outlets on both sides. They've still done some decent things. Your main living room air conditioner is an 18,000 BTU Furrion Chill Cube. This is a 13,500 BTU standalone direct dump air. And then again, you have the option for the third air conditioner for back in the bunk room. So if you are in those really hot Texas, Arizona climates, you can keep this thing cool for your whole family. One of the things here, though, the travel access is absolutely two-stage. It is not a flawless travel access kind of camper. That's part of the reason it has two entry doors, because without the direct entry door into the bedroom that we're walking backwards out of right now, you would not have bathroom access on the road. And my experience has been, if people are going to, if there's going to be one thing in the RV available with the slides closed, it needs to be the bathroom. So they did make sure to do that. Some people don't like the idea of a door directly into their bedroom. They feel exposed, even though it's a deadbolt. Weirdly, they don't have that same concern about a door right next to their kids' bunks. I see that conundrum all the time and don't understand it, but I don't have to understand it. It's your life. It's your purchase. It's your preferences, not mine. So it doesn't matter how I look at it or how I feel about it. It matters how you look at it and how you feel about it. Now, obviously, with this big rack and pinion super slide closed, it gets tight, but we could get up to the kitchen for a quick little travel snack. There is a little bit of a caveat that I want to offer in this bunk room back here. This is a Schwintek bunk slide. And even though I can actually get back here and walk into this bunk room, you should not occupy the bunks in the slide. The bunks on the right-hand side of the screen. The ones over here on the left, those are okay for travel stops. But all of the seating and sleeping in both of the slides should not be occupied while the slide is closed due to the function of those specific slide systems. If you want to learn more about the different advantages and drawbacks of the more common towable RV slide systems, I actually have a whole video dedicated to that. Assuming I don't forget, which I probably will, I'll leave you a link for it in the video description. If I do forget, leave me a little comment, say, where's the link to the slide videos? I'll fix it up. And not even getting into the weights, purely on the length of the RV alone, I do not like the idea of pairing this up with a half ton. Simply stated, this is a 38-foot camper, tip to tail, tongue to bumper. 37 feet 11 inches. It's a 38-foot RV. Something a lot of people are not aware of is the longer an RV is, the more easily it will introduce sway into your towing equation. A lot of your half tons now have short beds, have short wheelbases, and the shorter your wheelbase, the less sway control you have, unless you have something like an F450 with their whole wide track system. That's a very different animal. The common vehicle most of us have or would look at is kind of what I'm discussing here. I do like that pass through. You notice it's not, the opposite side was a little bit smaller on the door. It's because that's where your water heater is located. You see the blue sticker under the propane tanks on the front? That's telling us this is on a Norco Huck bolted chassis, not a traditional Lippert I-beam frame. The underbelly is also enclosed and forced air heated. It's got those smexy looking glass doors that get really hot to the touch in the summer sun. So make sure you tell the kids, you know, the awning, they didn't skimp on that. They put a big awning on here that does cover both entry doors pretty well. They don't force a camp griddle setup on the camp series, but they are prepped for one here. So if you're like, yeah, but I kind of like that from the other Surveyors, you know, that's one of the things that they peeled out, that this one, you know, they don't force on you, and it's one of the reasons it's a little bit lighter weight and a little bit less expensive. Of course, you have a gas grill quick connect down there too, but some people like to bring their own cooker, you know. This rear corner looks a little blank to me, just because since about 2011, I've become personally so accustomed to seeing a camp kitchen door right there that it looks odd. But I was thinking about this, and you know what I think would work really well? In that big front pass-through compartment, if you brought one of those like 10 by 10 easy up screen rooms, you could, you know, place something like that right over here beside it, or, you know, put the campsite picnic table or something back here, or I don't know, how would you use that campsite space? I would be kind of curious to know. You do have a snow load walk-on roof, and we also have two different slide systems employed here. The rear bunk slide, the smaller, lighter slide, is a Schwintek system. Your big living room super slide, that is a heavier duty rack and pinion variety. Also, something else that is nice, because the kitchen and the bathroom are kind of pushed up together here. Sorry, I'm trying to get up close. It's a 38-foot RV. It takes me a while to walk around it. It is a singular sewer outlet where everything's going to basically come right out there. Hold on, where is the washer dryer plumbing? Oh, I think the washer dryer internally plumbs into the gray tank, which then comes out the single sewer outlet. I was not expecting that. That is very cool. You do have ASDL below the fiberglass, by the way. I'm struggling to remember. Our team can verify for you. I can't remember if by default this is only solar prepped and has optional 200 watt solar, or if it's a standard 200 watt solar package. I think it's an optional solar package here, but I want to tell you what I know and not what I think, even though I kind of just did. So if that's an important factor for you, make sure you contact our team so that we can verify that. So leave me a note, let me know what you think, and I will leave you some links in the video description that you can use to jump over to our website to check pricing and availability on one of these. If it's a little bit too big, check the 29 camp. If you need a little smaller still to get closer to that half-ton towability, look at the 27 camp, and then of course there's smaller models available from there. Short of that, let me know what you think, and I've already asked you to do that probably 27 times. I don't even know. When you're ready, we're ready. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.